And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker for this evening, which is going to be Frank Reigelman, who is the National Director of Outdoor Programs. And if you have never met Frank, you're going to be in for a treat. He's one of the most innovative and wonderful professionals that we have to work with, and we are very blessed to have him working with us on a day-to-day basis in the outdoor programs area and serving as one of the advisors to the Outdoor Ethics Task Force. So Frank, we're looking forward to your thoughts about what to expect with BSA as we go into this period of reorganization.
Great. Thanks, Eric. And again, welcome everybody. We're thrilled to hold this conference in what has undoubtedly been just a unusual year for all of us. I'm going to do a little screen share here and get my presentation up and ready to go. And then I'll be joined by Scott Anderson. And we'll talk, really our focus tonight is going to be on outdoor program updates. We've got some pretty exciting and new things going on there, and certainly fits in with the context and theme of this conference tonight and tomorrow. So let's see, Scott, are you on board with us now? So the first thing I wanted to cover, and this is where the smartphones come into play. We're going to have a real big series of QR codes in this, and as Eric mentioned in his opening, we're going to provide all these links after the fact too. So if if the QR codes aren't working for you, or you're not ready with your smartphone, you're going to get these links post conference too. But one resource that's should be super helpful to everybody is our outdoor programs landing page. And you see just a little sliver on the left side of this. That's where you'll find all of the outdoor program related subtopics. And you can go there and find anything that you might need. It's the perfect place to start. And you can get linked to resources from everything from aquatics to camp standards and National Camping School, and so make sure that you visit that page on a regular basis. You'll see also in the top of that, kind of right above Why the Outdoors, we've uploaded a large volume of information there this year about the COVID-19 situation. And you'll also find a camp director resource page where we've placed over 20 webinar recordings from the middle of March until last week on COVID related and just operational topics that are really helpful to local council programs. So
Frank, I got a quick question for you. So to get to this webpage, where do I find this?
So go to scouting.org and click on the little menu button right up there by the search magnifying glass, and that'll bring a drop-down box, and then you can scroll down and click on the outdoor programs button. And I would also be remiss if I didn't say that we also have a companion website on properties that has information about the most current designs for camp buildings. There's some maps that are available there and other resources. So our team is programs and properties, so we'd like to cover both of those things.
Well, Frank, I got a variety of questions for you, and there's all kinds of new exciting things happening in outdoor programs, as well as some things that are quite confusing. How does the new NCAP, so this is new short-term camp standards that are being designed, how does that impact us with outdoor ethics?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So on January 1st, will be the first time that the National Camp Accreditation Program, or NCAP, standards will apply to short-term camps, which are 1, 2, or 3 overnight programs. And so certainly many of our outdoor ethics and leave no trace trainings fall into that category. And really the reason for this evolution is we have lots of guidance and information on how to run a long-term camp, Cub Scout or Scouts BSA long-term camp and day camps. But if you added everything up, our volume of camping in the short-term window is pretty spectacular. And except probably for the Guide to Safe Scouting and a rather out-of-date camporee guide, there was not a lot of information and resources for doing that. So what the short-term camp administrator program does is it kind of pulls out the camp standards that are applicable to those types of events. And a short-term camp administrator is a new position. It's a national camping school position. And that is an individual in a council or possibly a district who is the coach and counselor for the short-term programs. So we'll use a pretty easily to identify thing, a camporee. So the camporee chair would work under the guidance of a short-term camp administrator to help make sure that the proper standards have been applied to that event. So the short-term camp administrator doesn't have to run the event. He or she is going to probably work with a network of events and help them be great programs done in a safe manner. So we're doing a lot of training on that right now, both at the national level, and many local councils are banding together, and they're offering it's basically a day-long training in that to prepare people for January 1st when that goes into effect.
Another big one. What can you tell us about the new Conservation Award program?
Sure. So the BSA just rolled out the Distinguished Conservation Service Award and discontinued the Hornaday program. And if you're familiar, and I know a lot of people on this call are familiar with the Hornaday program because there's a lot of crossover in people who served as advisors for that. But it came about really for two reasons. One of it was a review for just the inclusion and diversity that's being reviewed in all of the scouting programs. And we have an FAQ on that website that talks about this, but essentially in the early 1900s, Dr. Hornaday was involved in some things that now are contrary to what the BSA stands for. So that was taking place, plus there was a thorough review of the requirements, and it was a very complicated award, had 7 different categories, and although a very prestigious award for a youth to earn because of the number of projects involved, we didn't have many people that would actually make that attempt. So the new award has for youth that requires 2 projects, and it's the other big thing that's different is that the awards are determined at the local council level using a board of review platform, and then there is a conservationist award level, which is a nomination form for adults, and then there's also an agency or organizational award for that too. So we've gone from 7 to 3, and if you go to either our website or that QR code, you'll find the new application, the workbook, and other materials that are being developed as we make the transition to the new BSA Distinguished Conservation Award.
Well, I certainly would like to send my thanks to the Conservation Committee because I know they spend months on this this whole transition. So congratulations to them and to you as well. Now, every other year, the BSA hosts the National Outdoor Program Conference. When is the next conference?
So the next conference is October 10th to the 13th are pre-conferences, and then the 13th to the 17th at the summit in West Virginia. In 2019, we held this conference at the Philmont Training Center. And now that the summit has the conference rooms, the lodging, and the feeding available for a large group, we're going to move this back and forth between the summit and Philmont every 2 years. And really, it's a gathering of scouters at every level and every responsibility. And it's last year we had 120 electives, most of those coming from the field of innovative and creative programs delivered by volunteers or volunteers and local council staff, combined with presentations and electives from our national departments. And then it has general sessions, I don't know, we had about 50 or so vendors with outdoor related programs and materials. And so it really is kind of the place to be for anybody involved at in outdoor programs. We had I think 7 specialized tracks that people could pursue, or you could cherry pick from a wide variety of topics and get a really broad experience. The other thing that was pretty interesting is often councils would bring 2, 3, 4 or more people, and they could divide up among that group and essentially cover every single elective that was offered during that 4-day conference. Of course, we'll provide opportunities to explore the summit and get out and see. I think many people maybe on this webinar tonight have served on maybe they've been on a jamboree staff or something and really haven't been able to get out and explore too much. Well, this conference will allow opportunities to do that. So registration will be available in the April-May timeframe, but we just wanted to make everybody aware of it at this time to just kind of pencil that in and watch for more information. And we are always open to proposals for an elective, which are basically an hour-long presentation. We went to the field last year and we got about 60, and we accepted exactly 60. So we really like to have the kind of that grassroots level of involvement and experience at this conference. So a great opportunity for folks to do. In the pre-conferences, we don't know what all of them will be at this point, but I'm pretty confident we'll have some maybe 2 or 3 day pre-conferences focusing on outdoor ethics or leave no trace. So watch for more information on that, and hopefully, everybody tonight and lots more will join us. We had about 400 at Philmont last time, and we'd certainly love to have that many or more join us at the summit next October.
Now, this is out of the box. The BSA is rolling out a new camping brand. Now, what does that exactly mean? I mean,
yeah,
camping brand.
This is really exciting. So probably many of the people at the webinar tonight are familiar with family camping programs. Often, parent pal offerings at their summer camp or one of their camp properties. So BSA Family Adventure Camp is distinctly different than that. We're actually setting this up to be a separate brand that is exclusive to certain sites. And of course, those sites to start with are going to be at 3 of our 4 national high adventure bases. But then we're also looking at other strategically placed local councils to conduct this program. And they're really designed to attract families and to bring them into the program, and they'll have a strong mission-based component to it, but they're going to be distinctly different because, first of all, the seasons are going to be very long. The seasons are going to be maybe 120 to 170 nights. And this isn't, come Sunday, go home Saturday. This is come whatever day you want and go home whatever day you want. And then you can pick and choose through the family activities. And so if you've ever made a reservation on Airbnb or any kind of a site like that where you pick where you want to go, you pick what you want to do, this is going to work just like that. It will be a national landing page for this, and you would select the property you want to go to, even to the point where you can select the tent or the cabin, eventually the RV space. And then you can go a little deeper and select, well, we want to add this activity or that activity. And we have been introducing this at the Philmont Training Center to a certain degree the last 2 years. We've introduced, I'll show you the deluxe tents, which you can see kind of in the center picture. The lower right-hand picture are the deluxe tents that are now installed, right oceanside at Camp Sawyer, which is leased from the South Florida Council. But this program will operate and be managed by the Florida Sea Base. And then the lower left-hand corner, you can see the deluxe tents being installed at the summit. And you should know the Philmont tents are heated, the Florida Sea Base tents are air conditioned, and they're outfitted extremely nicely and very comfortable. They have a main room and then a side room with 2 bunk beds, so the capacity is quite nice. We're also adding family adventure cabins at the summit, and eventually we'll have some RV capacity at the summit and at Philmont. So pretty exciting stuff. We should have the full registration going probably early next year, if not late this year. So again, it's a brand new program, and it is a distinct brand. This is not intended to replace local council activities like parent pal activities. This is something completely different, new and exciting. So that's, and I think while we're kind of on the high adventure, I'd like to just let everybody know that the 2022 seasons at the high adventure bases are open for registration. And again, you can click on those and begin to explore options for 2022. With the COVID year this year, many of the crews that intended to go to a high adventure program this year opted to roll that reservation forward to 2021. So as a result of that, Philmont is looking at a spectacular summer next year, probably the largest ever, with maybe over 26,000 participants. They've added backcountry camps. They've added arrival days to kind of spread that crew load out. But after the fire and now after the COVID pandemic, we have a lot of people that have been very, very patient, waiting to go to a high adventure base, and we're really looking forward to to those operating next year. And I did add in a slide here that I thought is pretty cool. This is the caretaker cabin at Fish Camp at Philmont. And the cabin restoration crew is reassembling that cabin, but they took it apart log by log, right down to the foundation, and replaced the, anything that had deteriorated, and they're putting it back together. And it's it's historically correct, and they're keeping the integrity of that cabin in place, and so it's just kind of a pretty cool thing that's happening in the South Country. But while we're going around the map, I think I'd just like to hit a couple things about the Florida National High Adventure Sea Base. One of the most exciting conservation related things going on right now is a coral restoration program where they're actually growing coral at the Florida Sea Base and working with the Mote Marine Laboratory to go out and plant that coral in coral reefs to rehabilitate the area. Extremely innovative, and talk about an immersive STEM program. Well, that certainly is one of the tops in the nation. The Sea Base is also a Scene Center, which is a World Scout organization program. It's a designation. It's the only one in the United States of the Scene Centers around the world. So they're doing some really great work down there. And overall, there's over 19 programs available in the Keys, in Bahama, or the U.S. Virgin Islands. So, and new for next year, the Sea Base is rolling out kind of a science and discovery program, both for scouts and for school groups. So, so they can reach into the outdoor education and the school systems in Southern Florida. So some great work and utilization of that property by not only scouts and our members, but also people outside of scouting. So Scott, I'm kind of zipping through a lot of things, so I don't know if you got any questions and want me to slow down, but.
So I had just attended a Scene seminar with scouters from all over the world, and there are just so many terrific environmental programs all over the globe and in every corner of the globe. And I was excited that we're a part of that whole program, and look forward to hearing more about our environmental programs at our high adventure bases.
Yeah, we're looking at adding some content at the National Outdoor Conference next year on the Scene program. So there'll be more to follow on that.
I have a few questions that came in that I'll send your way.
Okay.
One person expressed concern that there's only a few of these adventure camp locations, and they're pretty far away from major metropolitan areas. How many more adventure camps do you think will join the program?
So we envision a network across the country, and but there's some pretty stringent requirements. They've got to be able to have tiered camping, which would be maybe a basic tent, a deluxe tent, and a cabin, and possibly RV sites. So they've got to have three of those, and they've got to be able to support 170 nights of program. So it's got to be open on a kind of on a long-term basis. And so we do have some councils around the country who are getting ready to submit their application and become part of this network. So there absolutely will be more, but like a lot of things we do in scouting, we kind of roll them out through the National High Adventure bases and then get them ready to go far and wide beyond just those properties. So it'll take a little bit of time, but that's absolutely part of the part of that. So oh, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, next question I got was someone asking about advancement opportunities. So if a family with a couple of scouts came to family adventure camp, would there be advancement opportunities for the scouts?
So there could be, but that would not be the emphasis. The emphasis is going to be experiential and doing things as a family. Now, as part of that, if they achieved some of those some requirements, they certainly could could recognize that, but that would not be the emphasis of that program. So I see the the poll is up for people to make a selection on the most visited site in 2019. So as soon as that poll ends, Matt, I will give you the results from our metrics. Looks like people are still voting there, so we'll let that go. I'll keep talking so we stay on schedule.
So
Any other questions?
Yeah, quite a few about the Hornaday Award and the new Conservation Award. So when does the Hornaday Award expire? Is it too late to earn the Hornaday Award? So Scout that's well involved?
Yeah, there will be a transition period because we know that there are members out there who may be working on their third or fourth award, and they can submit those until the end of June next year. And we have a transitional recognition level, which is a BSA Distinguished Conservation Service Award with bronze or silver honors. So there will be a way to do that, and we'll be glad if if anybody is working with a Scout in that category, reach out to our office, and we'll be glad to help kind of go through those steps. Okay, so let me just share. Well, the poll results are up. So the actual winner, the most clicked on link on our website, is the outdoor code. At 8.6% of all the visits, or 43,000 hits, was the outdoor code, followed by camp accreditation. So just kind of a fun little thing. We did want to run an easy poll here tonight. We've got probably 6 or so polls that will be scattered through the remainder of the conference to help us get a better feel for what people are interested in, or what you're doing out in your local council. So Matt, thanks for running that poll.
So now I've got a couple of long questions. These came in via email, and this one has to do with lead. So has the BSA looked into avoiding contact with lead in all activities, chiefly shotgun ammunition, fishing lures, and tackle? Some state agencies have programs devoted to educating families about going lead-free, at least for programs, at least for fishing. Is the BSA aware of these? Some schools with clay target shooting use steel shot, and that was used at the World Scout Jamboree in 2019. Is it still used regularly at the summit?
I believe the summit is using steel shot, but I would have to verify that. We do have a few camps that have converted to that, but the majority of our camps are still using lead shot, and obviously the rifle ammunition is lead also. And of course they have to look at ways to manage their shooting ranges and work with, and some of that depends on the local climate and how stable the lead may be in the backstop or not. And I think as far as fishing goes, I'm not sure that if there's a lot of modern fishing tackle that is still still made out of lead. I would think that the consumer industry has probably gotten rid of most of that. I know, for example, all of our Pinewood Derby weights, there's no lead left in the Pinewood Derby, off the shelf things from a Scout shop. So, but it's certain, we have some information in our properties team about rifle ranges and some recommendations on that. If a council is going to move a range and then has to mitigate, there's some pretty stringent guidelines on that too.
Another big one that I received via email was my council is in the process of developing some new campsites on the camp. We have restroom, shower, and hand washing facilities within walking distance of every campsite. All campsites have water available in the site and electrical for the CPAP users. Current campsites also have a wash stand for hand washing, brushing teeth, and doing dishes. These wash stands drain into a French drain to let the gray water soak into the ground. What is the current recommendation for adding wash stands like this to new campsites?
So
Any idea?
yeah, well, I would tell you that one of the most requested things that we get in our office are the plans for a modern shower house and restroom. And I think any of those are going to be built either on a septic system or on some kind of a, you know, if the camp has, you know, has a, you know, an internal septic system, they would be hooked into that. I think the gray water pits for a wash stand are going to be regulated by the, you know, local permitting and local conditions, and I know that changes from area to area, and so it would be a matter of the properties folks working with the local health department and others to see what is you know, what's currently acceptable. And the other thing I would say, which is just a little bit of a commentary on that, is that, you know, today's family and today's camper, you know, they're looking for comfortable restrooms, flushing restrooms, and our current design is, you know, single user, you know, one door, one stall, toilet, shower, sink. And, you know, not only is that, I think, more popular with people, it clearly is compliant with our youth protection policies. And I think it's really what people are expecting now when they go to camp. Now, do all of our camps have that? Not yet. But I think anything being, you know, that's been built in the last few years or is in the planning stages would be that, you know, that modern structure.
I have two more questions, and we have about 5 minutes left, Frank. First one is there any thoughts about making all high adventure bases part of the SCENES network?
So I think that has been discussed, and I've had that conversation with the team at the Sea Base because they've got the most experience with it, and I think that'll be discussed, you know, among their management team to begin to move in that direction, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, it's definitely being discussed. Yes.
And the last question for tonight is, there was a notice about a new EPA Conservation Award. What is that, and has that begun?
It has. Yep, that was announced this summer, and it was a partnership with the program development team and the EPA. I think, Scott, what we should do is I'll go on a kind of a search and rescue tonight and tomorrow, and I'll find that application and that QR code. We'll put that up tomorrow so people can go and learn more about that. But it was announced this summer in a joint press conference with the Boy Scouts and the EPA, and it has some requirements both for some earning some merit badges, but also doing some projects. And it's not a perpetual program. I believe it will sunset at some point, but I'm not sure what that is. But it might be a great opportunity for people to learn more about the EPA and conservation too. Well,
Frank, thank you so much for all of the great presentation and all of the exciting programs that are housed under outdoor programs and properties, and the great work that is done by you and your staff. I think I've covered all the questions, so unless I see one pop up here.
Okay, well, I can, what do we have? In about 2 minutes, I can bump ahead just to share these last few QR codes about upcoming projects, and we'll keep us on the clock. But the slide that's up now is the Orion project, and this is, as you know, the National Jamboree was postponed from next summer, but the Orion project is a way for maybe somebody who was desiring to go to the National Jamboree and have a large scale experience, but it's not a full Jamboree, but it's a great experience with a lot of Jamboree-like activities. And then the next one is the Telescopian, and this was designed for people who wanted to be part of a Jamboree service team. And this is a week-long kind of a workshop for them to come and learn more about a Jamboree and getting ready for the next one when we when we get to a point where we can actually put that on the calendar as we work our way through pandemic related and restructuring at this point. And moving quickly, 2023 is going to be the 100th anniversary of Northern Tier. And so they've got lots of special activities planned for that. So again, planting a seed and getting this in everybody's on everybody's radar for down the road in 2022 and 2023. And then finally, if you have not been receiving the Trail to Adventure blog, which was formerly an old-fashioned PDF newsletter, but now it's a modern blog, you can hit that QR code and enter your email address, and now you'll get an information update now about once a month from Outdoor Programs. So it's a great way to stay connected. We struggle with all these different channels on how to get information out. This one will come right to your inbox. Our distribution list is about 20,000 right now, so it's a pretty healthy healthy list. And if you're not part of it, we'd sure love to have you be part of that. So Scott, that concludes my prepared thoughts. So if you don't have any other questions, I'll stop my screen share and we'll move on to the next section.